veteran team. Carlos Stewart left to go to LSU and then is back for this year. So a lot of familiarity. I think defensively it's going to be fascinating to see how these teams match up because they're both really potent offensive teams.
Take a look at the series history as we play the rematch, a revenge game from the Beavs standpoint. Santa Clara at a critical juncture in their season, trying to extend their winning streak, maintain possession of second place in the WCC standings. We're off and running in Corvallis.
We'll talk about NCAA tournament ramifications as the afternoon goes on, but WCC tournament seeding is really what this game is most important for. As you see Nate Kings go right to the rim, get the hit and the foul.
Now he's emerged as one of the nation's top 3-point shooters. He's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way here on the first possession of the game.
Well, King's shooting just under 50% from the three-point line. This is the evolution of his game now because everyone knows he's shooting it at such a high clip from three. He's going to have to do more of that. Pull it down, rip and go, get stuff in the lane.
So he comes to the gym expecting longer closeouts tonight because of the reputation.
Yep. We have a big enough sample size now, and if maybe you didn't believe it earlier in the year, we're halfway through the year. He's obviously shooting it at a high level. Teams are going to close hard on him from here on out.
Broncos first possession coming off a blowout win of Washington State at home. Their second largest margin of victory this season, 93-65. Short clock. They move it so well.
Yeah,
a deep three, Carlos Stewart Jr.
They really move it. And again, with a veteran group, they trust each other. They trust the extra pass. And you saw it there, Stewart with a wide open three.
He's now 5 points away from joining the 1,000-point club in his career. He'll join his teammate Johnny O'Neal in that stratosphere soon.
For Ratai to be aggressive here, put him at the elbow, let him go to work. He's a matchup nightmare. We talked about that the other night. If Santa Clara goes big on him, you're going to see him at that elbow a lot, looking to drive.
DeMarco Minor misses the front iron three.
How good was he the other night? 10 points, 9 assists. Really controlled the game for Oregon State.
Yeah, the box score looked good, and if you watched it closely, the intangibles I thought were even better for Minor.
No doubt. And Wayne Tinkle has talked at length about the leadership since day one that Minor's provided and holding everyone accountable to go along with the production he provides.
Of course, it's easy to get assists when Michael Ratai is ripping 4 threes in a row in that second half.
And he's made such a jump this year. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about doing what we do is seeing guys improve from year to year.
Minor the steal and the patience will not fall, and a nice recovery defensively for Adama Alphaball and the Broncos.
You love the unselfishness by Minor, but probably should have just laid that one up himself.
Mahi at the wing. He led Santa Clara with 21 in their win earlier this month against these Beavs.
Minor also starting on Adama Ball, their leading scorer, so taking that challenge this afternoon as well.
Giving away, what, 7 inches in that point guard matchup. Ratai spots up. Could not knock it down. Ball's there for the board.
Ball is dangerous, too, in the open court. So he gets a rebound. He's going to bring it, turns it over there.
Taurus Lelevicius the other way.
Oregon State's really got to pay attention in their transition defense of not just getting back, but getting back and matching up. I mentioned the 29 threes attempted a game. Don't want to let Santa Clara get going.
Good take from Ratai.
Well, you see last possession, attempted 3, that time going to the rim. Whoever you put on him, he's going to read it and play accordingly.
Christoph Tilley with the skip to ball. This is one of the most prolific scoring teams in Santa Clara history. A chilly start on the road here in Corvallis as Ratai gets to the line.
I think both these teams remember the first meeting. I think both teams understand what's at stake here. Playing a little bit fast right now, both teams.
The WCC had co-players of the week this week. You saw one of them there, Michael Ratai. And again, if you're joining us a couple minutes behind, no Tyree Bryan, the senior from Orlando. His game against Gonzaga was one to remember. A resume win for the Broncos, to be sure. Here's the junior jump for Ratai.
Yeah, look at across the board. Now, look, he got more of an opportunity with some of the departures from this Oregon State program, but he's also gotten better. Like, he wasn't healthy for most of last year. We talked about that on Thursday, but he has gotten better, and he's risen to the occasion of the opportunity he's been given this year.
He'll be at the line here. I think a testament to how important this game is, Don, that Herb Sendek spends a 30-second time out there before the first media stoppage in this opening half.
He might have been saying what I just said. Hey, guys, let's settle down a little bit. We're playing a little bit too fast. Quick triggers. Let's move it like they did the first possession and got a clean look for Carlos Stewart.
Since a 2.5-minute scoring drought. Among the many things the Beavs do well here in 24-25, foul shooting.
One of the better teams in the country in the foul line.
The tie individually right at that 80% threshold.
You know what I like too? You and I have come here so much, JB. Really good crowd here this afternoon as well. See if they become a factor as this one goes on.
6 unanswered for the Beavs to build the early advantage. Mahi with a good look inside. Everything but the finish for Christoph Tilley.
Well, Oregon State, and I mentioned it earlier, they're doing a pretty good job the last 4 or 5 possessions of covering the three-point line, getting out there and making Santa Clara do something different. So something to keep an eye on as this game goes on. Tilley going to the paint that time. Are they going to be forced to do that if Oregon State's perimeter defense is covering up that three-point line?
Tinkle's group coming off a big second half, a 20-point win over Pepperdine. They put 49 on the board in that second half and won by 15. Tilley, a third-year Bronco, breaks the spell at the line.
I mentioned the missed foul shots in our open from Santa Clara in that first meeting. They were 13 for 27 from the foul line. And they're a 73% free throw shooting team.
To do that in your home gym in a game that was decided in overtime.
Bizarre.
Carlos Stewart Jr. brings the whistle as DeMarco Minor digs in.
The other night against Pepperdine, you and I were talking before we came on the air about how little fouling there was on Thursday night. Neither team, Pepperdine or Oregon State, got into the bonus in either half. I don't think you and I have ever seen that before, as many games as we've done.
Either our memory is failing, which is entirely possible,
yes,
happening more and more often to both of us, or it's unprecedented in our career together, which thankfully is getting pretty long in the tooth, and happy to continue it here with this Santa Clara Oregon State matchup. We've been watching Adama Alpha Ball since his first 2 seasons in Tucson with the Arizona Wildcats.
Just gotten way more of an opportunity here at Santa Clara and really taking advantage of it. Had a really good year last year.
Cam Tung with nowhere to go. It's a shot clock violation.
Because Ratai's not really a guy that likes to turn his back to defenders, but Fala does. See how Santa Clara plays him. Will they bring a second defender or not?
They're able to shove him off the block there and deny the first entry. Shot clock at 10 and an awkward entry point that Ratai handles, finds an open shooter. Josiah Blake the second. Missing from 3. Ball cleans up the defensive board.
A good look for Lake, and as you mentioned the other night, everything was going in from behind the line.
Broncos zinging around the perimeter. This is Johnny O'Neal. Back out to Brenton Napper. Again, the passing supreme for Santa Clara. They're back within 2.
So Oregon State, communication is critical in whatever coverage they're in, but that time miscommunication or no communication, easy dunk for O'Neal.
Ratai able to put his foot down and get all the way to the goal.
He is so good at that, attacking that mismatch. You put bigs on him, he's going to do it every time, and he seems to get to the rim every time.
He scored 15 points at least in 8 straight games for Oregon State. Out in the corner, O'Neal could not connect on 3.
That's what I like, JB. And I saw that note in the game notes, that the consistency with which he's playing, because it's different for him now. He's the guy on this team. So what does that mean? The other team, you're the first person they're talking about. So sometimes it's hard to be consistently good and productive every night, but he has been.
Helps when you can get it at all 3 levels, plus the foul line. Ball off the crossover. One too many? Indeed, a travel.
We were talking about that the other night, the D-cell Euro. That's what he tried to do, but stepped on somebody's foot. You see the mistake by the Oregon State defense, and then Ratai just hesitation dribble, right by him. No rim protection for Santa Clara.
Don, though, you can empathize with Cam Tung there, right? Who's
good.
Stepping out to deny that three and gets blown by. But you're right. This is, for a team that's already down Tyree Bryant, very concerning.
Mm-hmm. Just Ratai is playing with so much confidence now, and again, the role he was given, that immediately gives you confidence that you're probably going to be the guy, the leading scorer most nights. But he has really answered it.
Boy, you got to be there on the catch for Nate Kings. He showed it again the other night. He's ready to roll.
You can tell, because the stakes of this game, that it looks different on offense for Oregon State than it did the other night. A lot more comfortable the other night, stepping into threes, not a ton of resistance. It's different when there's expectations and stakes on the line like there is here today.
Napper finds a rolling tongue deep in the clock.
Well, they are countering what Oregon State is presenting. Oregon State's not going to let Santa Clara beat them from the three-point line. You can tell that already. So how are we going to beat them if we're not getting clean looks from behind the line? He's so big.
Parsifala, I think, where you felt his absence the other night was the Bees would drive into the teeth of the defense, make a pass to a big who just wasn't as adept as he is at finishing.
Yeah.
And now Tung is in trouble. Some early attrition here in this WCC rematch between the Beavs and the Broncos. If there's any roster kind of here in the conference that's built to withstand a couple key pieces down, it might be this Santa Clara group, but it's not something they want to put to the test on the road in Corvallis.
No, especially in a revenge game. Oregon State remembers what happened the last time they played, obviously. Game's a little choppier, and you wonder if it's by design by Oregon State. I thought it'd be a little more up and down, free-flowing, and it's not. But that may be what Oregon State wants. They are more of a half-court offensive team. And you see the value of Fall already.
Yeah, he gets a bucket, and then the back cut from Carlos Stewart Jr.
Well, that's what you're vulnerable to when you are so concerned about the three-point line and how good Santa Clara is from behind it, is that you're susceptible to back cuts and rip and go stuff getting into the lane.
Josiah Lake with the basketball. Trying to set up Falla.
See that backside defender scourging that pass.
He found an open window, could not drill it. Saved by the Broncos. And without ball on the floor, you're going to see a lot of Brett Napper all the way across to the lay-in. Cozy Akametu.
Yeah. Well, Santa Clara, again, is taking what the defense is giving them. And right now, Oregon State is not giving them the three-point line. How many have they attempted so far?
They're 1 for 5.
Yeah.
Beavs have missed all 5 of their 3. So 2 prolific three-point shooting teams struggling on this. Washington State and St. Mary's the following week. So a grueling gauntlet in their schedule. The Broncos, if they can find a win here today, it would be 3 in a row, and it would set up a huge collision with St. Mary's at home next week. That'll be pivotal either way, but you can imagine if Santa Clara comes out of this one at 72.
Yeah, seems like more of a must-win for Oregon State, this one, because of who's coming up next for them.
And having already dropped a game in overtime on the road at Santa Clara. As you see, ball is back, and that's a great sign for Herb Sendek and company, feeding the mid-range jumper from Tilly.
Like that short roll catch and float game from Tilly. Not an easy shot, but a lot of bigs are practicing that shot and taking that shot now off that short roll pass.
And Tilly coming off his first career double-double at 13, and then a career-high 10 rebounds last time out against the Cougs.
Usually that short roll's in the middle of the floor so that you can spray it out either way. That time it was on a side, so really his only option was to catch and finish that.
Falla loves to get to that left shoulder, right hand. Missed it all there as we hit the midway point of our opening session. O'Neal, no hesitation.
See, that's the concern with Santa Clara. All 5 guys are willing three-point shooters, so if you don't get back and get matched up, that's what happens. Luckily for Oregon State, he didn't make it.
Falla in deep and over the top of Tilly.
Well, they don't have an answer for him yet. They're singling him up. They're not bringing a second defender, and every time it's gone into Falla, he's pretty much scored.
Count it for Johnny O'Neal. So you feel the tension, right? Can Fala come out and guard the bigs of Santa Clara? And can the Santa Clara bigs stay out of jail down deep here?
That's exactly right. Look how deep this post position is. The play's over at that point. You got to force him out early, do your work early, and then O'Neal on the run. Last possession, pulled up in transition from 3. That time went all the way to the rim.
About 1 combined made 3 between these prolific shooting programs. They're 1 for 11 in the first 10 minutes. They could make 11 combined before halftime. Johnny O'Neal here at the line. He made a season high 5 his own doing on Thursday in the win over Washington State. Josiah Lake just makes winning plays.
Nice job. I was just going to say, nice job coming back, getting in the play, and securing that rebound.
Minor turns it down to make the extra pass.
The guy his side. Lake had 6 rebounds the other night.
Maxime Logie, 77 in white, is in the game. He's coming off his best performance as a Beaver.
Well, with the absence of Fala on Thursday night, it's going to be Santa Clara ball. Logie had 6 points, 5 rebounds in 16 minutes. So really affected the game in a positive way and probably earned himself some more minutes moving forward.
Tinkle going to bring a substitute Kings into the game for Lake as the home crowd here at Gill did not like the ruling that Santa Clara would get the possession. Jake Ensminger sends it in. Playing with Carlos Stewart Jr. off that high screen. Now Adama Alpha ball. Pass. A bounce pass to Tilly, who'll have to earn it at the foul line.
Well, that's Ball's game. I mean, he's improved as a three-point shooter, 36% this year, but that's who he's been, is put it on the deck, get downhill, get into the lane, and make stuff happen. I thought he was going to shoot that one, but smart play to drop it off to Tilly.
Kind of a matchup chess piece, isn't he? At 6'7", can play a bunch of guard spots in the backcourt for Santa Clara.
He was their primary ball handler last year. It seemed like the ball was in his hands more. With Stewart back in the fold, I think it's not as much, but he's become more balanced individually offensively because of his improved three-point shooting.
He tested those NBA waters too, didn't he? Came back to school to again put that on tape. And
well, if you can't make threes, you can't play in the NBA, especially at his size. So I think he's in the process of proving that he can play off the ball and catch and shoot.
Isaiah C. with a sweet pass, and Logie takes care of the rest.
Play hard, Logie. We said it the other night. Just play hard. Don't think about scoring. Don't think about anything. Just play hard, and good things will happen.
Ensminger here for the Broncos, looking for the dribble handoff. Dead on the dribble. Elijah Mahi comes to help. Send 2 at ball off the screen, and they get a deflection. Well done by the Beavs defensively.
Good play by LT to step in that passing lane. Team defense.
Logie over to screen for Minor. Here is LT. Teeing up a triple.
Maybe that'll break the seal in this game. Nobody making threes here to start. You mentioned it. Sometimes all it takes is one for the whole team to see it go in.
Get to the second side here, and the Broncos attack off the bounce.
Logie
feeling his presence at both ends.
Good decision by Minor. Looked like he was going to force something there. Pulled it out, got the ball screen.
Turns the corner, drops it off. Ball with the clever hands to poke it away.
Good idea, tough catch for Logie. Bigs want it up, not down with those interior passes.
Minor rips it right back out. We play on with Isaiah C.
Oregon State under Wayne Tinkle has always done a good job of the complexion of the game looking how they want it to look. I'm sure Santa Clara wants to get this thing going faster. Hard to do, especially in Gill.
Levitt just missing this time. It does feel like the game's being played on their terms so far.
I mean, You said it. Santa Clara, one of the more prolific scoring teams in the country. They got 18 with 7 minutes to go in the half.
Getting 81 points per night. Second behind only the Zags in the WCC. Another 3 goes begging. An empty trip for Santa Clara.
You know, when you're used to playing at a certain speed or a certain tempo and it slows down, those shots become different. Threes. They just are. They're not as in rhythm. And so it's hard to be as good when you're playing at a different tempo than what you're normally playing at.
It's interesting. You can feel the choppiness as a shooter in a half-court game.
No doubt. 3-point shooting here, at least not yet.
Oregon State coming off another midweek victory over Pepperdine. They're 5-3 in conference. Santa Clara looking to win a 3rd in a row in conference play. They're 6-2. Every rung on that WCC ladder means so much when we get to March, not just in terms of your at-large resume, but what you have to do once we get to Las Vegas to get the automatic berth by winning and cutting down the nets. Out of the stoppage, DeMarco Minor.
Well, to simplify it, if you're the 1 or the 2 seed, you don't play till the semifinals of the conference tournament. So whether either of these 2 teams, there we go. Mahi makes the 3. Can either of these 2 teams move up to the 1 or 2 seed? I think they can. They both beat Gonzaga. Still have to play St. Mary's. But that certainly should be a goal for both these teams, is trying to get up into that seeding.
A good thing you got that shooting point in before that timeout. They both come out with impressive makes. Nate Kings is a great 3-point shooter, but they're running him off the 3-point line, and so he's going to the foul line instead.
And I wonder if that's being talked about with him, with the coaching staff. I'm sure it is. Like, look, they're coming for you now. They're going to stay attached, and if they don't, if it's in rotation, they are closing hard. So this is what's going to be open. Rip it down, get into the lane, make a play for yourself or others, or get to the foul line.
I was listening to Wayne Tinkle with Nate post-game after their victory Thursday, and he was kind of telling the assembled media about knowing what Nate has in his toolkit, just focusing with him individually about defense and rebounding and letting the offense take care of itself. Well, has it ever taken care of itself for Kings?
But here's the thing, JB, to further the shooting conversation, a lot of times when you got a guy that's shooting 49% from 3, they are in a hurry to get more 3s up. So when it gets swung to you, usually you just fire it up because you're shooting at such a high percentage. He understands what the defense is doing and is making the correct play.
Napper initiating the offense. Broncos cough it up. Minor has numbers. There's Kings. Didn't catch it cleanly. Puts it down again. Logie sends it back to the perimeter. Seen Logie facing up, then putting his back to Cam Tongue. Second defender poked it out.
Too many dribbles. I think they'll live with 1 dribble or 2. Once he put it down a 3rd time, there's defenders coming.
The 5-minute mark. Beavs have that use it or lose it timeout. Minor does it to save the possession up 5. I got to win to either one of these teams' totals. How different it'll look and feel as they prepare for next week in conference. LT brings the whistle. Have a couple of foul shots to build on this 26-21 lead, and he's prolific at the stripe. 40 of 44 coming in.
So this will be a mess then.
I think if you say it before he toes the line, before he hits the nail and he gets the basketball, you're in the clear. We'll find out. Never doubt.
Never doubt.
You made a great point the other night, a great comparison with his stage in his career compared to where Mike Rataj was previously.
Yeah, I think it's about opportunity, but also growing with the opportunity you've been given right now, which isn't a big role offensively at least. But do you make the jump next year that Rataj made? Tyler Bilodeau made a huge jump from his freshman to sophomore year, Rataj sophomore to junior. So you just figure LT with these important minutes he's playing now, when his role expands next year, which I'm assuming it will, he'll make a jump as well.
The Bees muddying the waters even further with a little pester pressure. Clean look for Santa Clara. Offensive rebound. Tongue relentless.
Drop back into a zone. And you become vulnerable on the defensive board when you play zone. Tongue took advantage of it there.
Second foul on Fala coming off the OSU bench today. He's on the far side block after Matthew Marsh got the start, and we've seen Logie at the 5 as well.
Pretty balanced scoring for Oregon State so far.
Senior from Massachusetts. Maybe it's something about seeing the orange and black of OSU.
Maybe.
Just a devastating night at the foul line, shooting 48% in the first game between these two earlier this month. A salvage victory from the jaws of defeat on their home floor.
See, this is what's difficult. When you got Ratai, who's a capable three-point shooter, getting it at the top in the middle of the floor, and then you got Fala posting up in the lane. It's hard to guard both of them. And typically what happens in that scenario is you can't get a second defender to follow fast enough, so he's just going to turn and score it.
That was the last foul that Santa Clara had to give. Follow with his 2 personals will sit down. Minor from the baseline gets it back in the corner. Using the Marsh screen, dribble into trouble. Spots Kings. Oh, it pops out. Ratai missed the bunny, and the Bees will get a new possession.
I get what Ratai is trying to do, but you see that so often where guys just try and finish it in the air. A little off balance, didn't complete the play. Come down with it. If you need to ball fake, but go up strong with it. And even if you don't score, it's likely you get fouled.
Great action from a tough trigger spot. LT to a slicing Nate Kings.
Now, this is what Oregon State's done all year. They just methodically build leads, and then just like that, it's at 9.
Nothing easy at the rim. Johnny O'Neal with a good take, but he'll be there when we continue from Gill Coliseum.
Even still, Wayne's always been a very good defensive coach, hasn't always had the personnel to be a good defensive team, but this year they are a good defensive team, and you're seeing it against a very good offensive team in Santa Clara.
I'm probably guilty of overlooking the defensive field goal percentage, which is on track to be one of the best in a decade because of how improved they are offensively. And it's a team defensive effort. It's not like there's a gargantuan rim protector in the middle erasing stuff. They do it from all 5 positions.
Well, if you're going to be a good defensive team, even if you did have a good rim protector, that doesn't mean you're going to be a good defensive team. Like, everyone has to be bought in, and there's got to be attention to detail in the scouting report. And I think they have that this year.
Second crack at it for Ratai in deep. He gets his shot blocked after he had 4 blocks of his own the other night. That was a career best. Dama Alpha ball spins out. I distinctly remember you telling me that you used to turn guys loose and just let Mutombo erase them, and you claimed that you were a part of a good defensive team.
He was an all-time shot blocker, though. He blocked everything. Yeah, I was never accused of being a good individual defender on a good defensive team, ever.
Broncos steadying a bit here.
Yeah, they are.
Staying within striking distance of the homestanding Beavers.
Follick picking up his second foul is a big deal. He was pretty effective offensively in this first half when they went to him.
Ratai against some length defensively. Could not connect with the roller there. Matthew Marsh on the receiving end.
To see Ratai get a touch here before halftime. Santa Clara making a bit of a run here.
Ball shakes his defender. The drive and kick. O'Neal.
Another clean look.
Now 2 of 10 from the arc are the visiting Broncos.
Tell you what, Tung's done a really good job on the offensive board getting extra possessions. He's going to get foul shots here.
First foul on Kings. And both teams have reached the limit now, being 1-1 the rest of this half with 2:21 remaining. Tongue a 71% shooter this season at the line. Missed front ends. They're 5 of 10 as a club.
So weird. Really, just against Oregon State, they miss free throws.
Especially knowing how much you love to shoot in this gymnasium. Yeah. I think it's a great shooter's backdrop.
It really is, and the dark background really helps.
Lake backs it out. He's got 6'10" Johnny O'Neal defending. Minor rocks into a three. In that kind of first half here at Gill Coliseum.
Well, you just wonder, and we talked about it earlier, JB, the importance of this game that everybody understands and the effect that it's having on the offenses. There's been a lot of good open threes that haven't gone in, which you feel like normally go in.
The Broncos have still managed to shoot 50% from the floor despite not being able to dial it in from distance. Multiple dimensions to their attack here.
Logie.
And they're going the other way. Maxime Logie making his presence known here in Corvallis.
He heard you say that Oregon State doesn't have a rim protector, JB.
Tell you what, the more minutes he gets, that defensive field goal percentage is going to continue to dwindle.
Yeah, well, and he's going to play more.
It's a great track record here in Corvallis of Wayne Tinkle and his staff developing bigs. Got to think they love the raw material in this 6'9" freshman from France.
Certainly looks the part, doesn't he? Passes the eye test.
Well, the great thing about his night on Thursday, it's not like he started or came off the bench and gave them immense production right away. It was his second and his third trip into the game where he got progressively better. LT hits the front end. He earns a second here.
Well, it just gives Wayne Tinkle more options. Obviously, he played more the other night initially because Parsifala didn't play. But if you can come in and affect the game like he did, now you don't have to play Fala, or it gives you more people in your rotation based on the matchup and who you're playing.
Seen this three-quarter press into zone from the Beavs defensively. As the Broncos break the timeline. Akametu with the basketball. He's playing bigger minutes without Tyree Bryan. Six to shoot. Ball.
Another offensive rebound for Santa Clara.
A couple of them have come against this OSU zone. And Ball makes it hurt.
Well, when you're not shooting it great, the idea is go get the misses. And that's what Santa Clara's done. The reason they're only down 4 is they've gotten extra possessions off the offensive board.
It's been more than 3 minutes since OSU's last made field goal. Chance to finish this half 2 for 1 if they hurry. Minor in deep. Logie could not corral it.
I'm telling you, they don't like those passes low. You got to throw those up, especially young bigs.
Ball goes to work early. On balance finish.
Really good surge here by Santa Clara to finish this half to get it within 1 possession. Knew we'd hear from Ball sooner or later.
Now from down 9, within 2. Shot clock turned off. Let's see what Minor and the Beavs can get going to the locker room. LT pops. Comes up short. And they'll go to the halftime locker room separated by only 2.
Competitive first half. I thought the game was the way Oregon State wanted it. Down tempo, more of a half-court offensive game.
Neat half that we could look back on in March when the bracket is set for the WCC tournament and say that the outcome here determined a spot on that bracket, a line, a bye.
The first one, too. The first meeting between these two.
Dom Alpha Ball was shaken up in that first half, but able to play on. And tipped up. Battling for an extra possession. Tilly on the ground. Did he call timeout?
I heard timeout.
They didn't grant it. They go to the arrow instead.
You know what, though? I bet Herb Sendek's probably happy that they didn't give him the timeout. This feels like a game where you're going to need timeouts at the end. And on a 50-50 ball, just as the second half starts, I don't think you want to burn a timeout.
How about Logie getting the second half start for Oregon State and missing the lefty?
He's earned it, man. I'm not surprised by that for 1 second.
Elijah Mahi got the start with the basketball here. Attacks and throws it away.
Well, we talked about the Oregon State defense before we went to halftime, and it's just, they're good defensively. They are. And it's, you know, as good as Santa Clara is offensively, for them only to have 30 points tells you how good Oregon State's defense is.
Ability to defend without fouling is what we've seen here again this week on display. Minor exploring off the bounce. Kings from the elbow.
Tough shot.
Man, so much more than just a three-point marksman.
That's such a tough shot. Backing up from the elbow. Got to have some touch on that shot. It's not like a normal three with a defender all over you.
He takes over the OSU scoring lead with his 9. Carlos Stewart Jr. initiating the offense in the half court for the Broncos. Ball throws it down to Tilley. With Logie defending. Second defender from the baseline. 2 to shoot. Does he see it?
He saw it.
Shot clock violation.
What I liked about that, Logie, good initial defense to stand Tilley up and not let him back him down, and then LT comes baseline side. Santa Clara doesn't really even get off a shot.
Only 2 points combined in the 2 minutes since we came out of the locker room. Oregon State with the lead, led by as many as 9. Ball extending his defense on Kings. Minor to the baseline. Rattay lines up a 3. 1 and done for the Beavers.
Good play design though. Minor off that double screen on the baseline comes out, and then throwback to Rattay relocating. Just couldn't knock it down.
Santa Clara ND. That rolls off for Ensminger. He's been quiet. Have not felt his presence so far.
Like Logie may have touched that ball when it was on the rim.
Kings looking back to Rattay, intend to shoot. Mike Rattay off balance. Did not get the whistle. And it's going over to Santa Clara.
Usually he powers through defenders on that. I think he was looking for the foul instead of trying to make the play. You got to go through to try and make the play, and if you get the foul, you get the foul.
That's an illegal screen. Adama alpha ball trying to spring Stewart. So his second foul, and Broncos still looking for a bucket here in the second half.
Well, again, we talked a lot about the complexion of the game in the first half. It is continuing. Oregon State does not want to make this an up and down affair. They want less possessions so that Santa Clara will shoot less threes.
I like this coaching move too. In the half court, you know the defense is going to be settled. You go to your hammer in the post, playing with 2 fouls, but Parsifala enters with 17 minutes to go in regulation.
See if they go to him here.
First he'll rotate it to Kings. Trying to establish on that near side block.
Is that high-low we were talking about?
Always wants to get back to that right hand, and someone reached.
Again, with that high-low and Rattay's ability to make threes, it's awfully hard to defend. And Fala's, you know, all at 260, keeping him from deep post position is easier said than done.
Those 3 buckets in 6 minutes of floor time in the first half. He just put the 3rd personal foul on Tilley. Something to watch here for Santa Clara.
Well, it's clear, and we'll see if Santa Clara makes an adjustment, that Fala is a mismatch for them down low. And so I don't think they're going to continue to just watch him get deep post position and operate.
A rebounding foul here on Oregon State. How about the fact that they're letting Tilly play through? I got to think the next Oregon State possession is going right to Fala against Tilly.
Has to.
Unless they can somehow get O'Neal switched onto him defensively. Fresh into the game, speaking of, O'Neal off iron.
Ball just had, there's been a few possessions, JB, but you and I are accustomed to this Santa Clara team really moving that ball and shifting the defense and getting second, third side.
There's that matchup we just spoke of. Where's the whistle? Is it on the spin? Is that 4 on Tilly?
I think it is.
Wow. Back-to-back trips. No sooner has Parsifala entered the game than he knocks out this third-year Bronco coming off a double-double with 16:23 to go. When can you bring him back?
I think they're going to have Tongue, who's got a little bit lower center of gravity to deal with Fala now.
But he turns his back on Ratai, who knifes all the way to the cup.
I'm telling you, when you have balance offensively and you have a legitimate low post threat, it changes stuff. It's hard to guard because you got to stay back. You got to fight with guys in the post, and that opens up a lot of driving lanes. You saw it there from Ratai.
Now defending ball, LT takes him on the switch. Adama Alpha ball contested too, and they needed it.
Oh, that's what he does. He's been good at that for a few years now, just getting in the lane, making something happen.
Kings the other way, tees up Ratai. Boy, a physical battle for the rebounds. Now Reed, I think correctly, our official spotted that Ratara's
here. Give Randy Bennett and his staff credit. They're undefeated, and they may stay undefeated. We don't know. But they're about to kind of enter the teeth of their schedule.
Yeah, hosting USF on Thursday night was kind of the start of that, and they fared very well. Critical game between Santa Clara and Oregon State here. A couple of teams trying to continue to build at-large resumes. Ball from the corner. Able to find Johnny O'Neal. 10 to shoot. O'Neal lost the handle. Minor takes it away. Now the bounce pass. Kings on the rise.
Tamarco Minor does so many things to help you win. That's not an easy pass to get it on the money so Kings didn't have to dribble it. He could just pick it up and score it.
7-2 the advantage since the half for Oregon State, expanding its advantage. Kings into double figures with 11 points. Nakametu playing big minutes here on the road. Deep three. Broncos just cannot find it. 3 of 14 from distance.
Oregon State better job that time converging on that missed shot, not allowing. Tongue was in there again, not allowing him to get an extra possession for Santa Clara.
Ratai swings it over. Kings down the lane. LT.
Nice play by Kings. I thought he was going to try and go through the defense and try and score that under control. Kick out to LT. Big three to push this lead to 10.
The largest of the game. Ball goes right after it. Comes up empty. Kings on the counter.
He's smart here. You push the lead to 10.
Ratai takes the contact and converts.
You wonder if Santa Clara is expecting Oregon State not to push, because Kings did, and Ratai on the trail. Early clock score here. Well, O'Neal, the biggest Santa Clara player on the floor, but he's not. He's long but not big enough, I think, to deal with the strength of Ratai in the paint.
Until their 7-footer saddled with 4 personal fouls. 8 unanswered for the Beavs to open up the largest lead of the game.
Danger time here for Santa Clara. They desperately need a bucket.
Fowler thought he got a steal out near midcourt. Instead, his 3rd personal foul.
Still plenty of time to go, but when the other team makes a run and pushes it to 13, I feel like it can go either way. It can go to 20, or you get it back under control and get it under 10.
Yeah, twice in that first session, Santa Clara was able to stabilize and get back within striking distance. Here's the 3rd time, and it's kind of the inverted image of their first meeting where the Broncos built a couple of double-digit leads and could not put the Beavs away.
But we've already documented kind of why that happened. Santa Clara, how many missed free throws in that first meeting, allowed the door to be open for Oregon State to get back in it.
Napper. There's some offense for Santa Clara. Only their second bucket since the break.
Needed that.
Such a valuable role player, a redshirt junior from Ontario, California. Grew up in Charleston, West Virginia, though, before making his way to California. Logie's on the floor for Wayne Tinkle and the Beavs.
They were going to get Ratai on that roll post up. Floated back out to the perimeter.
Levitch is here with a short clock, trying to create his own. A physical rebound for O'Neal.
Good rebound, O'Neal.
Ball, transition triple.
That's what I'm talking about. The pace picking up. This favors Santa Clara. They're such a good three-point shooting team. Right back in it. 8-point game.
Bees will throttle it down again with the lead on their home floor.
I was going to say that. I bet you they use most of the clock on this possession. Wow.
It's the fifth on the Santa Clara Broncos here.
This is what I was expecting in this game. Santa Clara get a stop, get it down, early clock threes. That's the first one today, isn't it? First early clock three-pointer for Santa Clara.
Ball's got 10 points, but watch that foul story now. There's 12:40 to go. Oregon State, a good foul shooting team playing with the league, and they continue to drive the action. Minor majoring in buckets for the Bees.
That's an automatic shot. Somebody goes under a high ball screen, you have to shoot that. Minor knocks it down.
Got lost defensively, and it's a dunk for Tongue.
Saw that a couple times in the first half where Santa Clara was spread out, good spacing, and then no communication from Oregon State leads to a wide open dunk. Heard one of the coaches say second side ice and get it to the other side of the floor and then the ball screen.
Lake into the teeth. Logie under control.
Nice job gathering himself instead of trying to just put it up quick. Gathered it, went to the other side of the rim and finished with his offhand.
Well, those close quarter bounce passes have been trouble. He's made a nice adjustment here, being ready to receive that pass. We'll get a stoppage next whistle. Ball cut off.
Good pass, good cut.
Carlos Stewart Jr. making himself available.
So much better when they move it. And I know Ball was probing, had used a lot of dribbles, but the movement off the ball leads to the easy layup.
Another deliberate possession here for Oregon State with a 9-point advantage. Minor puts his back to Napper. Able to keep that dribble and create some separation. What a feel for the moment for the guy they call Polo.
I thought Napper thought he was going to kick that out. He didn't think he was going to try and score it himself. Hit him with the element of surprise.
Now his own defensively. Napper identifies, works on Ratai. 10 to shoot. They get it to the short corner and Cam Tongue against Logie. It's a good left hand.
Good left hand. I'd like to see a little more resistance out of Logie on that. Can't let him get that deep. Cut him off earlier. A nice play by Tongue.
Scoring has definitely picked up here, but the Beavs content to trade buckets and maintain their advantage. We're still due for our under 12 media stoppage. Most fluid offensive action of this rematch between OSU and Santa Clara. Minor goes to work, hits the brakes, hits the shot, and a free throw to follow. Him kind of be the governor of the tempo at which this game is played when Santa Clara got a couple of buckets. Caps a three-point play spanning the break. Halfway home in the second, and Oregon State has only expanded its lead. They're plus 10 since the half.
You can tell that DeMarco Minor's played a lot of basketball and has been coached, because you can tell he understands time and scores, got a really good feel.
One of the first things Wayne Tinkle said about him is how much he appreciates Minor's desire to be coached. For Santa Clara to get back, they're going to need threes from Napper and company.
They are. They're starting to knock down their open ones now, which is a good sign for Herb Sendek. because they had a lot of clean ones in the first half that didn't go down.
They never stopped Ratai until he got to the rim. Johnny O'Neal met him at the summit.
Oregon State can't exhale based on what you just said. This Santa Clara team is lethal from behind the line and can get back in the game really fast.
They made 5. They average double digits on a per-game basis. Tongue surveys tend to shoot. Goes to work off the bounce. And there is a foul. He's spilled a few times. This one holding his head. He put the foul on Minor. I wonder if he got poked.
No, he hit his head at the end. He's a rugged type player. Plays with a lot of physicality. Plays through a lot of physicality.
It's like Parsifala got some there too, didn't he?
Good sign for Santa Clara. Made free throw
after he missed his first 3. So of all moments to connect, that was the one.
Every time it looks like Oregon State is going to push this lead out to something insurmountable, Santa Clara does just enough to stay connected. 7-point game, 9 to go.
Minor fires a fastball in deep. The Beavs get a bucket in transition.
What a luxury for Wayne Tinkle, especially when you talk about closing games with a lead, to have a guy like Minor.
Ball, catch and shoot. Santa Clara trying to surge from the 3-point line. Loose ball rebound claimed by Napper.
Tongue's down again.
Ball launches again. This time he's got it. And you're right. I mean, he was so far off the floor on that baseline. He was out of frame. This time it's a lower body injury. Body language does not look good here for Tongue.
Take another look at it.
A left ankle. You hope for Tongue's sake that it's one of those that catches you by surprise and scares you more than it lingers.
Yeah. And he's been effective here for Santa Clara tonight with his effort and hustle, getting extra possessions on the offensive board.
Not able to put any weight on it, though, Don. And what this is going to force Herb Sendek to do is bring Christoph Tilley, his 7-foot center, back into the game playing with 4 personal fouls.
Well, if Fala's not in the game, I'm assuming he'll be right back in the game.
Because he was the one who got Tilley in foul trouble early in this second half.
There he is. So Tilley's got to be smart. And you'd rather give up, a bucket or 2 to Fala to stay on the floor. So he's got to really be judicious in how physical he's going to be with Fala down there.
Boy, they get the look early. Yeah, they switch O'Neal on him. They double.
So if I'm Ratai, I run right down to the block and take Tilley down there with me.
Sets a screen for Minor. Josiah Lake to the baseline. Spot C. Boy, look at Minor go up for that tip. He can really soar. It's a defensive board for the Broncos. Down 2 possessions. Ball to the lane. Spots O'Neal. It is a 3-point game.
Give Santa Clara so much credit. Down 13. They have fought. Their defense has risen up here the last few minutes. And it is a 1-possession game.
The timeout. Beavers here with 7:45 remain. Taped up during that timeout. Still to be seen whether he's able to return to this contest. And we're also monitoring 13 in black. Christoph Tilley playing with 4 fouls.
And he's not in right now, Tilley, so trying to save him You know there's another timeout coming at the next dead ball.
Abuki Oboye on the floor guarding Fala here. Immediate double from O'Neal. All the way across to LT. It's ripped out and stolen. Brett Napper on a rim to the rim. Wow. Run to the rim. Easy for me to say. It's a one-point game.
Santa Clara's defense has really stiffened here the last 3-4 minutes.
And now they get a great trap.
And they're being aggressive. That's why they're doubling the post, doubling it at half.
Another deflection from Napper to save a bucket from Parsifala.
Adjustments after halftime, and one of them from Santa Clara is they aren't going to watch Parsifala just go to work inside. They are doubling him immediately now.
Josiah Lake with the basketball out of that timeout. Levicius dribbles over. 7-minute mark. 1-point game. 5 to shoot. Fala gathers on a pass off his shin, but comes up empty.
A tough shot. He knew the shot clock was going down, too. Had to go quickly. Another stop for Santa Clara.
Beavers had an 8-0 run in this half. Broncos have scored 8 unanswered. This man has been stirring. Oh, this one pops out on him.
Got away with one there. Clean look for ball.
2.5 minute scoring drought for Wayne Tinkle's Beavs. It might be Mike Ratai time.
Yeah.
They'll have to get to the line.
That's kind of what I was saying without saying it a minute ago. It's time for Ratai. If you're going to be the guy, which he is, leading scorer and rebounder, we've talked so much about how big of a jump he's made. When you're this guy, this is the time of the game where you have to step up and be that guy.
He's been great here at Gill. He's elevated in conference play. 8 double-doubles, twice his total from last season. Already marks the most by a Beaver in a season since Warith Alatishe back in the 21 season.
Interesting. Oregon State is in the bonus. Oregon State, though, only 3 team fouls, so maybe can be a little more aggressive here this last 6:20 or so.
Brent Napper with the basketball has given Herb Sendek great minutes.
Yes, he has.
On the road. Oh, and they turn him loose for a layup.
Miscommunication again. There's been 4 or 5 possessions tonight of that. It's just wide open at the rim for Santa Clara.
Kings gets a clean look, and he sticks to 3.
Needed that, Oregon State.
His first made triple of this contest against Santa Clara reestablishes a 2-possession lead. Tilly with the basketball and 4 personal fouls. Screening for O'Neal, who rises, does not have the answer. Beavs get a stop. Minor gets the switch. O'Neal defending, dribbles into space. Rebound pulled down by Johnny O'Neal. Here come the Broncos.
Good look for Minor, just couldn't get it to go down. Which defense can rise up here?
Tilly, pick and pop, 3 spins out.
They have gotten 3 good looks at it.
Minor slowing the game down again as we hit the 5-minute mark. Rotation through Ratai, trying to establish Fala. Crosses over, lays it in, and 1. Ratai rising to the occasion in Corvallis.
Big-time players make big-time plays in these moments. We still got a long way to go, 4:51, but Ratai 2 and 1s in a row to push this lead back out to a couple possessions.
There's so much to keep track of down in the half court with Oregon State offensively. Proven shooters, a prolific post player, and Ratai who can do it everywhere on the floor.
In the middle, you got all 3 levels. You got Fala down low, Kings behind the line, and Ratai in between.
Fala giving the foul there. So that's the 4th on Fala to match the 4 on Tilly. But
so if you're Wayne Tinkle, I think you keep Fala in just because he's creating so much attention down there from the Santa Clara defense that it's opened up Ratai. Kings made a three. So you just wonder if he's going to roll the dice here and keep Fall out there because of that.
Maybe he'll get him to the under 4 timeout.
Maybe
he's
going
to bring Logie in with 4:45. Certainly changes the complexion of this next offensive trip for OSU. Sendek will get Tilly out in an offense-defense switch.
I think you're right. I bet Tilly and Falla both come in after the under 4 timeout. And just let it rip from there and see what happens. Initially, that trap from Santa Clara off of Makes had Oregon State a little off balance, but they made the adjustment, handling it much better the last few.
With the basketball here, he's gone over 300 career assists. Turns down the 3. Deeper in the possession. Kings with 5. Ratai, step back triple. Yes, sir!
Not an easy shot. We know threes off the bounce are much more difficult. Had a defender on him. Big time shot by Ratai.
Luki Oboye is going to get a trip to the line.
That's pro stuff right there. Oregon State has to, and they've done a good job. We saw it on Thursday night and for most of the night tonight. Guard without fouling. The last thing you want to do right now with an 8-point lead is stop the clock and put Santa Clara on the foul line.
The lightly utilized redshirt freshman from Houston, Luki Oboye, 7'1", trying to fortify a backcourt. It's dealing with some foul trouble right now. Front court, I should say. It's dealing with some foul trouble. 1 out of 2. Sendek realizing he cannot wait, putting Tilly right back in.
Interesting. Usually guys with fouls, you go offense, defense the other way. You put them in for offense, not for defense.
Minor nudges across half court. 4 minutes to go in this pivotal WCC contest, still in the month of January. Only the 12th all-time meeting between these programs, but twice in 2025. Minor a jump stop. Ratai trying to stay hot late. And finishes off the window.
So good at that. Going into the teeth of the defense, contact or not, finishing plays. We asked who was going to step up here to close this game, and it's been Ratai.
23 of their 70. The lead is now 3.5 to play. O'Neal with nowhere to go gets it back from Tilly. Deflection. A steal. Ratai with numbers. Dishes to Minor, and the veteran decides to run clock.
They may have completed that, JB, but the clock right now, those 30 seconds, they're going to run off way more important than 2 points this late in the game.
You can feel the appreciation from the crowd here at Gill Coliseum. To the rim. Logie. They get the 2. Minor turns down the layup for an alley-oop assist.
Unless you understand the game, you don't know how big of a play that was by Minor.
They give up a 3, quickly going the other way, and Santa Clara has not had it.
We'll see some pressure here from Santa Clara, try and get a turnover. But way too much time for Oregon State to be thinking about just putting this one away. There's way too many possessions left.
When you are in the bonus done.
When you got this guy on the ball, it becomes a lot easier, though, I'll tell you that.
Got one more 1-and-1 to shoot before they reach the double bonus. They call him Polo. DeMarco Minor against the lengthier ball. Ratai dribbles into a triple. Again!
Turned down an easy one to make it a hard one, but it didn't matter. Big time shot there.
Double-digit separation now from Michael Ratai, and Oregon State looking to sweep the week here at Gill Coliseum in the WCC. Drive and kick, Stewart. There's the answer, it falls.
Every time it looks like Oregon State's closing this game, scoring this game to win it.
I'll trust Ratai to send it in, and you can see the Broncos ready to press. Hunter waits for the double. Yep. Ratai will bring it.
Risky pass there. Cross court.
Fala bouncing up and down. He wanted that early post entry, but the seconds are more precious at this moment. They give the foul with 10 on the shot clock. That's almost worst case scenario. You lose the time, you give the foul. It's a 1-and-1, but Ratai an excellent free throw shooter.
You sell out for a turnover early in the clock, and if you foul, you still stop the clock. But yeah, once you get to 10 on the shot clock, you do not want to foul, especially when the other team's in the bonus.
9th team foul, as you see on Santa Clara. So a critical front end here for Ratai.
81%er. With those threes he's made in the second half, I don't think these free throws are going to be a problem.
It's been a joy to watch the confidence of Michael Ratai grow year over year and even game over game. A 10-point lead with a minute and a half left on their home floor. Got to be now for ball in the Broncos.
Necessarily need a three right here.
They pitch it to the corner. O'Neal could not knock it down, and that may do it. Up 10 with the ball. Timeout, Oregon State. Good thing they had 2.
Minor thought he got fouled, so he went to the ground. Smart play, though, calls a timeout.
Had the inbound honor. Ball is on the floor with Ratai, Kings, and Minor. Look at this. Kings all alone with the finishing touches.
You have to take that, too. When you're that wide open to push that lead back to 12.
Ball lifting, front iron, rebound, Minor. Here at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis, Oregon State continues to build an at-large resume. Ratai got away with one there. Off the deflection, saves the possession. Ball will foul with 43.4.
I don't understand that. Why you would wait to foul? If you're going to foul and lengthen the game, foul right away. Great play design by Wayne Tinkle there to get a wide open dunk for Kings.
.28 and building for Michael Ratai. 29 last Thursday against the Zags, 10 of which came in the overtime period. A lot of his heavy lifting here in the second half, guiding his Beavs to victory.
When they needed him.
Perfect at the line, 10 for 10. And a career best 30-point showing. Ball to the baseline. A layup for Johnny O'Neal. And with 33.9, Sendek spends his final timeout.
0.9. Highly unlikely, especially with how good a free throw shooting team Oregon State is.
They did get a deflection, and they give the foul with Josiah Lake in possession and 32.2 left. Well, Sendek and Santa Clara finding out what the rest of the WCC has in their first trip to Gill Coliseum. It's hard to win here, always has been, especially when the Beavs have a roster like this.
Mentioned the crowd at the start of the game. Good crowd for Gill here on a Saturday afternoon. And I think, JB, I mean, we don't know for sure, but, you know, when you beat Gonzaga at home and there's a buzz that, hey, this team's fun to watch and they're winning, and like, I wouldn't be surprised if they get good crowds in here from here on out.
Lake gets both, and that should do it.
Let's make them use some clock here. Get it under 30. You wouldn't think Santa Clara would come foul, even if they score here. 14-point game.
Arlo Stewart Jr. with the ball here late. Cannot find the shot. There it is. Too little, too late. As the Beavs pull away in the second half. The Broncos surrender 83-69 the final. Another happy birthday weekend to Wayne Tinkle.
Well, impressive. Minor, Ratai, and the rest of this team in the second half. It was a close game at half.